Fetching video stream. And then
Oh, did you happen to find anything on like the crunch time? I'm just gonna do the regular
yeah,
thing.
hang on a second. We are live. I'm just sharing it to the group.
Okay. There we go.
How's it look now?
And I can see the live video. It shows you on Facebook.
Does it show the videos though? The camera? Hang on.
I don't see us. It just shows the Facebook feed. There we go.
How's it look now?
And I can see the live video. It shows you on Facebook.
Does it show the videos though? The camera? Hang on.
Good morning. I don't see us.
Good night,
It just
nerds.
shows.
Hey nerds, how you doing?
How you doing?
Happy May the 4th. How you doing, Marvin?
How you doing, Marvin?
I'm good, George. How about yourself?
I'm doing alright.
Feeling nerdy?
I'd prefer if you call me by my real name, Sonic.
Oh my god. I didn't even notice those. You collect any rings today?
Always.
Oh. Cue Green Zone theme 3.
Sure.
Okay.
I've actually, I don't think I've played more than 20 minutes of a Sonic the Hedgehog game. I just like the hat.
What? Do you don't like art?
I do not like art.
Oh man. I can't wait to talk about this movie trailer with you then.
I actually, yeah, same here. I'm excited for it. Anyways, what have you been up to this last week?
So this week I've been playing a little bit of Crackdown 3, Katamari Damacy Reroll on the Switch, and Days Gone. All
Okay.
fantastic games. All have like a little bit of a flaw, but they're better than the reviews are saying they are.
Okay,
That's for
now
sure.
with Days Gone, do you think it's because the reviewers didn't have access to the final patch, and that's why there was as many issues as there were?
You know, it might be that. It might be a little bit of open world fatigue too. Because if you play nothing but open world games, when you come across one that's not like a perfect game,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna enjoy it very much. And I stopped playing open world games a couple months back. I came at this one just like, oh, it looks like an interesting premise. It's fantastic. It's like you remember that game a couple years ago, The Order 1866?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so it's basically like The Order 1866 mixed with The Last of Us. Like, it's more fun to watch than it is to play currently because like of a little bit of the bugs and whatnot. But you can see that they're trying. It is trying to be such a great game. It's just it's their first console game in like 20 years, so it's not going to be what you expect it to be.
Yeah, I think their last
You gotta
console game
go.
was at Siphon Filter 3 or something like that.
Yeah, they've only been doing PSP and PS Vita games ever since that, so
Yeah.
this is like a new thing for them.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is some of the reviews I listened to, they said like the gameplay loop is just not fun. Like it is long and tedious. And
No, man, I'm enjoying
in the in the in the,
enjoying the
in the
hell out of
fast
it.
traveling becomes an issue because you run out of fuel, so then you got to drive all over the map, and you'll drive
Mhm.
across the map to like go check on someone. And you show up, he's like, and the guy's like, "I'm fine, mission complete." So you like
Yeah.
you waste 20 minutes for some guy to say, "Oh, I'm good," or I heard that you'll be like next to someone and they call you
Oh, yeah,
on the
you won't
radio.
talk. Dude, I've had it happen like 2 or 3 times where you'll go to the camp because it'll say you have a new mission available or something.
Yeah.
You go and start the mission, and you don't hear anything. Then when you drive right outside the camp, get like 2 or 3 minutes out of their camp, they'll call you with the mission, like, "Hey, you should come back to the camp. We have something for you to do." And it's kind of a waste, but after a while, you just use that to your advantage. Like, I just explore every corner of the map.
Hmm.
So as soon as I go to the camp and they don't have the thing for me, I'll just leave out and I'll find something to do. Like I'll kill the freakers since they're not zombies, or hunt down like another enemy camp of humans. It's a great gameplay loop. You just gotta approach it as what is it, like a 6 to 8 out of 10, and not a 10 out of 10, and it'll be a fantastic game.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
have you been playing?
I've been playing quite a bit, so I got a review code for We Happy Few. I'm playing through that right now. Have you played it?
No, I saw it was on Game Pass. I was looking into it before they released it when it was early access on Xbox, and it looks fantastic. But then when it came out, it was kind of buggy, and I was just waiting for him to finish patching it.
Yeah, and I think
Pretty good?
they patched a lot of them. I've encountered a couple bugs, but nothing game breaking. It is good. It is bizarre. Um,
It's like BioShock, isn't it?
kind
like
of,
a-
yeah. So it's set in a fictional London. I think the Germans had invaded after the war, but I think the British eventually kicked them out, and everyone's segregated in different communities based on their wealth, and you have to take this drug called joy, which makes everyone happy. And if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like when your joy wears off, people will attack you. And if you're wearing the wrong clothing, people will attack you. If they catch you running and jumping, they'll attack you. So you have to you can get perks to
counteract it.
yeah. So now I can actually run and jump and not be afraid of getting hit in the head with a frying pan or a rolling pin. But when you take the
It's like real
joy,
life.
yeah, run down the road and someone comes out of their kitchen.
Come here, damn it!
So everything is dark and gloomy and dreary because it's England. But when you take the joy, everything becomes vibrant, and you start walking like this. And there's butterflies and swirls on the paint swirls on the buildings, and the roads are they're not stone; they're like bright green and yellow and red. And
Oh my god!
so the
It's
joy,
a Wizard of Oz, bro.
yeah, the joy is like a psychedelic. But then when it wears off, everything
It's
goes
the real
snaps
world.
back. Yeah, or you'll get moments of memory loss, and things will change. And if you take too much joy, you overdose on it, and you start vomiting. And
Oh, no.
so there's a lot of little things you have to manage just to successfully get through town to get to a mission because of how people react to you. So, but I'm liking it so far. I've also played a little bit of Division 2. I think I'm gonna write an article about it because it's got some problems now.
Oh no! Like the patch thing, or
No, not gameplay, not like system problems. It's not buggy. It's just there's nothing to do.
Okay. Have you beat all the story though? Probably, right?
Yeah, and it's just now
Grinding.
grinding for the chance at the minuscule chance at an exotic weapon.
Ah,
You know,
Jesus. Yeah.
just doing the same things over and over again. I almost don't see the point in playing until the raid comes out. I've also been playing quite a bit of stuff on the Switch in the last week. I've had a bunch of indie games. Basically, my rule is if I see an indie game for under $1, if it looks even remotely good, I buy it. So I played. It's called
Oh,
Robonaut. That's a pretty cool platformer that reminds me of Mario Galaxy, where you go around planets and you jump from one to another.
whoa. Hold on. I have to find
I
that
think it's
one.
called Robonaut. I'll double check and let you know for sure. I played this game called White Knight, which is a story-driven point and click adventure. It's got a really cool art style. It's black and white. Looks like etchings. Set
Ooh.
in Boston during Prohibition. The game unfortunately wasn't that great. I stopped playing it. Played this stylized platformer called Membrane. That's all right. Ding Dong XL, which you should be
Yeah.
playing if you haven't been. You can find it on mobile devices as well.
So good.
It is.
So good.
Hey James, how you doing? Um, and then what else did I play? Oh, there was this game. I think I got it for $1.50, but it's $2 now. And let me tell you, on the Switch, this $2 game is criminal. It's priced so low that it's criminal. It's called Dawn of Survivors. It's a cell shaded zombie survival game
You
that
try
I would
saying
easily
F5
pay
on
15 to
Friday.
20 bucks for, and it's going for $2. You should get it.
Okay. I'll check
Dawn of
that out for sure.
Survivors. It's got crafting. You got to build like your house. You got to build your appliances, like to boil water and things like that, and cook food.
Oh my god. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
It's actually fun. Like,
Yeah. I played for like an hour and a half one night. I'm like, well, I gotta go to bed. Um,
it's like if I keep going, I'm not gonna go, man.
yeah. So check some of those games out. Ding Dong XL and Dawn of Survivors especially. And of course, I watched Endgame, and I've been watching baseball, and this Netflix show called Traitors, about spies in England after World War II.
Huh. I've not seen that in my Netflix queue. That sounds kind of tight.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching. Well, since it's May the 4th, I started watching The Phantom Menace. I chose to start my Star Wars rewatch on the best one.
I love the Phantom Menace. I was actually just tweeting about this earlier.
Like, it's
People
so
want to
good.
complain about Jar Jar. Like, they have Jar Jar ruin the movie. And while he's not the greatest, that movie is actually really good. What it did for
Yeah.
lightsaber combat is incredible.
hmm
So, sorry.
No, it's okay. You kind of just match my sentiments. Like everybody hates on Jar Jar, but he's the greatest Sith Lord that no one suspects. uh, I watched Avengers Endgame. It was good. I do have a couple complaints, but I'm gonna hold off until next week for the 2 week spoiler thing.
Yeah,
And then Game of Thrones.
yeah. Now I'm way behind on Game of Thrones, so and I don't care if you spoil it, but
Oh man, I'm not in the service of any kind, but even I could have had some better like tactical skills than what they showed in this last battle.
was it like what was that movie? What's your plan? Go get him. I'm trying to think of that. There's some movie. It's drawing a blank. Where they go, "What's your plan?" And he's like, the guy just runs out there. He comes back. He's like,
Yeah,
"Is that your plan, really?"
isn't that Guardians of the Galaxy? I think it's Guardians
No,
because
it
that
wasn't
sounds like
that.
Drax.
No, it wasn't that. Because I fell asleep during that. I didn't really care for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. uh, shit. Now I'm curious for it too. You gotta send me the link for that. But no, it's like have you ever played WoW? You remember the Leroy Jenkins
I
thing?
know of it. Yeah, I haven't played it, but I know of it.
Yeah, that's essentially what they decided to do. Leroy Jenkins.
Right on.
Yeah. The end of the season better be worth it because at this point it's like they ran out of the book material, so they're just kind of winging it, and
Hey, Matt.
it's not on par with the book material in the slightest.
Yeah. And that's why I stopped watching the show. Is right before season 5 came out, I was reading the 5th book, and I wanted to finish it before I watched the season. And then I stopped reading the book, and I said, you know what? At this point, I'm just gonna wait for the series to be done and just binge it seasons 1 through 8. So.
You ever get around it? Oh well, no, they're in the 8th season now. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wait till it's done. and just
Yeah.
do it all at once.
Yeah, that'll be worth it. Just no, season 7 is not going to be the best, and
That's fine.
then season 8 is it's getting there. But you could feel the time. What do they call it? The weights of time or something like that. Like it's not as good as the initial seasons anymore. But it's not The Walking Dead yet, so
See,
it's still
The
good.
Walking Dead, a lot of people loved it. I gave up mid first season.
Oh yeah, I could see it. It's way too slow at first. I
Well,
stopped at season 3.
well, when I am partaking in zombie media, whether it be
Yeah.
movie, comics, games, I don't want a story. I want chainsaws and explosions and Molotov
Yeah.
cocktails and machine guns. Like I want no dialogue and just gore for 90 minutes, and I'm good.
And there was barely any zombies in the first season. I
Yeah.
remember that was my complaint. It was like, oh, they have zombies the first episode and like episode 2. Everything after that was just human drama, and I don't care for that.
Yeah, that's what my buddies and I we call it conversation. That's The Walking Dead. Its name amongst our group is conversation. They're like, oh, I was the last episode of conversation. 'Cause that's all it was talking. Which
Yeah.
and it's not that I dislike shows that are dialogue driven. I like Downton Abbey, but I watch Downton Abbey for that. When I watch a zombie show, I want zombies. I want gore. I want gratuitous mess.
Violence.
Yeah. So,
I
anyways,
feel you, man. Wait till they make a Dead Rising show. That might be like what you really need in life.
it could be. I've heard iZombie is pretty good, but I never got around to watching it.
I've seen like 2 seasons of iZombie. It's okay. There's still a lot of story.
Yeah.
It's not as much gore, but yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, well, let's move on to our first topic for the week. Crunch. Crunch. Now, for those of you that don't know, when we talk about crunch, we're not talking about that delicious cereal with the bearded
Bears.
or mustachioed old man on there.
Good old
Talking
Captain.
about game developers working crazy amounts of overtime in the months leading up to the release of their game. Whether it's good or bad, necessary or not, that's not really us for us to decide because we're not in that situation. But
When you hear about it, it doesn't sound too good.
no, now I don't know what you do for a living, Marvin. I work in insurance, and
Okay.
we have times of the year where it's expected, like we know 95% of our business doesn't come over the 7 weeks, so we have to work overtime. So that's kind of a crunch, and I think a lot of industries are like that. Retail,
I work retail.
yeah,
I'm retail, so I know crunch very much.
yeah. So I mean, I don't think this is something isolated to the video game industry. I just wanted to
Yeah.
lay that out there. But
Yeah.
I'm not giving it a pass and saying that it's completely acceptable.
This is why all the game developer people are saying they're trying to unionize because it's pretty much universal at this point. Like at some point, if you were part of any big company or small or just anything in general, there's going to be a crunch time. But the links the developers are going, it's a little extreme because I think I just read something about the Mortal Kombat NetherRealm studio where they got crunch time. There was like workplace harassment, and then they hired temps at under minimum wage, get them to work like extra long hours, and then if anybody decides to leave, they just quickly replace them.
Yeah, I don't think it was under
That's the
minimum
most-
wage, but it was under what they should be paying. I think it was like $12 an hour. Is what? I read.
Oh, okay.
But that's still for
Okay, yeah.
for a game developer,
For
like
game
someone
developer,
coding
yeah.
and doing artwork. That's kind of low.
Yeah, that's a Starbucks check, actually.
Yeah. That's mall money. That's what you
Yeah.
get working at the mall.
Yeah, man.
And we've been hearing a lot about crunch over really the last probably 8 months now. It started last fall.
It's been getting like frequently, like, because like you always hear ghost stories of, like terrible work ethic, but like it's usually like isolated cases. The last couple months, it's been this developer's doing it, this developer's doing it.
Yep, it started with Rockstar and Red Dead.
Yeah.
And I it seemed like that was a studio by studio case, and maybe even department by department. But
Yeah.
one thing that I remember from reading about those stories with Rockstar is that usually afterwards they were paying their employees like a six-figure bonus. So it
Oh,
kind of makes
not
it worth
bad.
it.
Give and take.
Yeah. If you stick it out, we're gonna help you out.
Yeah. I mean, that's better than them just saying, "All right, well, see you guys in a couple weeks. It's
Yeah,
gonna be pack time."
it's better than the
Yeah,
NetherRealm story where we're making peanuts and I'm drawing
yeah,
Harley Quinn's mallet over and over again for.
and like the NetherRealms thing too. Like, I was reading some former workers like complaints about it, and they were saying like it's not even so much the crunch; it's that they're not communicating. Like the higher ups aren't communicating with like the actual developer people,
Hmm.
and like they're like running behind because of stuff that the higher ups are trying to pass off.
Yeah.
They're not. It just sounds like middle management. Like that's universal once again. Like it's not good or bad, but you're gonna have to expect it in these industries.
Yeah, I don't know though, because we've heard stories recently where some developers are coming out and flat out saying that we're not going to operate like that and we'll push things back.
Respawn said that too. I love
Respawn
them.
is one, which makes me want to play Jedi Fallen Order even more. But
man.
also, Grinding Gear Games. They make Path of Exile. They're another one that said this recently, just in the last week. There was an article on PC Gamer about that, so you can go look at PC Gamer and check out that article. They don't want to run the company that way. If you can avoid it, it probably makes sense.
Yeah,
You're gonna keep your employees around longer, and especially if you have a franchise where they're gonna be recurring characters and recurring scenarios and places. You get people that are invested in it, and if you're not
yeah,
working them to the bone, they're more likely to stay.
yeah. These days, like I think stuff like that. It sounds good to us, but to the investors, they're not trying to hear any of that, man.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is part of the issue. Now, 10 years ago, we didn't really have the indie game scene like we do now, at least not
Yeah.
amongst consoles. So, I think fans were really pushing developers to get games out and asking about them a lot more because we just didn't have the options. Whereas now we've got so many indie games that, if I have to wait an extra 6 months for the next Assassin's Creed, that's okay. I've got other stuff to play.
Mhm.
So I think the indie game market might help alleviate some of the crunch because you're not going to get people clamoring for games as often and as quickly.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, there's been some really good indie games, like ever since the inception of like them actually going mainstream with like the big developers like having them be announced at E3 sort of thing.
Hmm.
But
When the ID at Xbox program and the Nindies, the Switch has
yeah.
really, at least in terms of consoles,
Oh yeah,
pushed it forward,
they are killing
pushed the
it.
envelope with indie games recently. And
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say there's a couple local indie studios here in Rochester, and I think I might try and reach out to them and ask them about crunch and how it is for them, because I can imagine for them it's almost a necessity, where it's a
Yeah.
studio of 4 or 5 people, and you have to get a game out by day X because that's when the money runs out, and you need to start making money. At least I'm assuming that's how it is. Whereas a company like an EA and Activision, they've got
Just going
reserves.
back to bag.
Yeah, they've got reserves, so I don't know if it's the same.
And the indie scene is kind of weird because like you'll hear these random tales of like a one person development team and like, oh yeah, I just released the game once it felt like it was done. Like Axiom Verge, that game, the dude delayed that every chance he could because it was just him like developing, making the music, writing the story and all that. And then it came out to good acclaim. It was buggy as hell, but he fixed it
Yeah,
with no crunch time.
yeah, and Hollow Knight. Team Cherry's basically 2 dudes,
Oh yeah, Hollow Knight is.
and
I
I
love
mean
that game.
that was out for like a year before they put it on PC, before they put it to Switch, and then
Switch, yeah. Once it came to Switch, it just shot off like a firework, man.
yeah, and then probably when did it come out to consoles? Probably 6 months after Switch. The other consoles.
Yeah, Yeah, because it came out in February on Switch, and then by summertime it was on
I don't think
PlayStation
it was
Store.
February. It was during E3.
Really?
I think so.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. I got it backwards. It was E3 was Switch, and then I think January February was consoles.
Yep. Somewhere around there. That makes sense. So I wonder, like, how they handle crunch. And it might be different
Yeah.
when, if it's a studio of 4 or 5 people, they're all probably part owners of the company. Maybe
Yeah.
not, but in that case, like it.
It's like in that case, it's their passion project instead of
Yeah,
something they're contractually obligated to do.
yeah, they're probably more invested, I would assume. And I'm not saying that people that work at NetherRealm and BioWare and places like that aren't invested, because I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But when
I mean, the tales of everybody like you having like emotional outbursts and stuff shows they're dedicated to the games. It's
yeah,
just they're in terrible situations
yeah,
for
yeah, was it was
kind of
it
makes you bad to be a consumer.
was it BioWare I was reading where people were taking like forced mental health time
Oh yeah, no,
during crunch?
yeah, that was them. That was Anthem. It was during Anthem and the Mass Effect game where they were doing it.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
man.
I don't know. Final
Yeah.
thoughts on crunch. What do you think? Is it?
I mean, a delay has never hurt anybody. You don't have to do the crunch thing. You gotta make sure your time is being managed properly. Like, if you want to delay the AAA game past the holiday season, I'm okay with it. I'll still buy it full price.
Yeah, yeah. Was it Miyamoto that said a late game can still be good, but an early game can't be good, or something to that effect? I'm paraphrasing.
I feel like I've heard that from him. That sounds like a Miyamoto thing, honestly.
Yeah,
I'll have
it's
to look it up.
and you don't ever hear about crunch at Nintendo. Now, granted, Japanese culture, I know from what I've read, they tend to work a lot anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's ever really been forced. And you hear from some of these American companies like Epic with their
Oh,
the
the
Fortnite,
Fortnite thing.
that they're basically in permanent crunch and it's not forced and you have unlimited work time, but you don't want to let your teammates down. Um,
Sorry, teammate. I'm going home. It's
Ye-
been 60 hours.
yeah, I mean, I've worked 60 hours in a week. It's tough.
Oh yeah.
And you start doing it 3-4 weeks in a row, like you get burned out quick. And at
hmm
some point, it's a law of diminishing returns. So, like you, I would be perfectly okay with waiting for content if it means
Yeah.
it's going to be better
Because
when it
like
comes out.
I'm in like year 10 or 12 of waiting for the new Metroid Prime, and they just restarted development on it.
Yeah, moved
I'm
into a whole
okay.
different studio. Yeah.
I don't know why they even had it with the first studio in the first place. It should have always been Retro, but
Well, they never even announced who had it at first, did they?
no, I thought I gotta look it up because I thought it was like Ninja Theory again or something like that.
No, Ninja Theory is an Xbox studio now.
Oh yeah,
They made
man,
Senua's Sacrifice.
yeah, dude. Xbox and THQ Nordic are two people who are just buying developers and titles up. Like
Yeah. Although, Xbox is going to do something with them. THQ Nordic is buying up some, bizarre.
they're just buying random games. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what? You made a game in the '90s. I want to own it.
Yeah. So. Alright, well, let's move on to our next topic. Similar to Crunch in some ways, in that it, revolves around game devs and how the public perceives them. Review bombing.
Review bombing. Yeah, man. This is like our third, fourth week talking about review bombing because it just keeps happening. I don't understand it really. Like, I can play devil's advocate on the situation, but it still doesn't make too much sense because you're taking something that, like, a lot of people are just review bombing it for the hype of they don't like the games being on the Epic Game Store, and they'll just review bomb it like on Steam, even though they don't gain anything from it.
Yeah.
Instead of like speaking directly to the devs, which may or may not work, but it's better than telling other people, "Hey, avoid this game. The company is crazy. They're terrible people." Like, you're messing with someone's livelihood in that instance.
Well, yeah, and especially the reason they're going to the Epic Games Store is because Epic is going to give them more of a cut of the profits. And in some cases, like in Metro, they then lower the price on the game. So it's actually better for the consumer and the developer in that respect to buy it from the Epic Games Store. Now, maybe it's not an issue to me because I'm not part of the PC gaming sphere. You know, I've always been a console gamer, so no one review bombed Spider-Man when they said it was a PlayStation exclusive. Everyone's like, well, I guess either, oh great, I've already got a PlayStation, or like me, it's like, well, I guess I'm getting a PlayStation.
Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense to me either, because like when Halo stopped releasing on PC around Halo 2, and it was just Xbox only, no one boycotted Bungie. Like maybe it's like a newer thing or something, because there's forums, there's the actual like interacting with the developer, there's voting with your wallet. Like if none of those three options work for you voicing your complaints to the developers, I guess review bombing would be okay. Like that's like a last ditch result, and then people are just going to that as their default. Like, all right,
this is terrible. Now the latest one getting review bombed is Rocket League. It's getting review bombed on Steam because the studio just got bought out by Epic. Now
that's a stupid decision to do, man. Why would they review bomb it for someone getting acquired?
Yeah. Now this is. Do you remember when Microsoft acquired Obsidian?
Yes.
So I think it was late last summer, like August, September timeframe, and the CEO of Obsidian said, "Well, yeah, we make good games on our own and we do well, but the problem is if we make a bad game, and I'm paraphrasing here, the problem is if we make a bad game, we're done. With having Microsoft support, we can make what we want, and if it doesn't sell well, we can still keep going.
It just bounced right back.
Yeah,
man." I hope the Outworlds is good.
I think it's going to be awesome. But anyways, I think it's the same type idea here with Rocket League. That by having the financial backing of Epic, they can take more chances and do things a little more in line with what they want to do as opposed to what they need to do. So they can do some more artistic stuff. And I know Rocket League's still going strong. It's, 5-6 years old at this point in time?
Yep, I own it on every console it's available on. I just keep buying it.
How much longer is it going to be? How much are people going to keep buying it? It's not a Nintendo game. It's not Mario 3, where no matter where it gets put on, people are going to buy it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as long as they keep updating it, but I would really love a Rocket League 2, like eventually.
But would you rather have a new game or just adding more modes and?
I don't know, man. Like, because they've been updating it very consistent. Like, there's like 10, 12 more cars than initially, like, at launch. And, like, there's like 4 different modes now instead of the initial just soccer. And it's still great, but I kind of want something new. But that's just me.
Yeah. I just don't know what they would do new to make it.
Yeah, good point.
To justify a new one. Now, we also, a couple months ago, had people review bombing Captain Marvel. Because of the comments Brie Larson made, which we're not going to get into here. But you had YouTube, I think it was YouTube, with a new algorithm that basically removed all those, or pushed them to the bottom of the search when you search for Captain Marvel, trying to mathematically, through code, get good content out, I guess. Like, and by good, I don't mean criticisms are bad, but it's just not some random person that made a channel just to review bomb something.
I hate this lady.
Yeah, getting more verified sources out there. Long-standing sources. So that's interesting.
And then NetherRealm too got review bomb, but that's about the currency.
Yeah, and Borderlands is getting review bombed now because they're going to be on the Epic Game Store for 6 months.
Guys, it's just another installer. Install the
You don't need a new computer. It's free too. It's not like the Epic Game Store costs you anything.
You get free games for just using the damn thing too. It's like if you don't trust Epic, just use a different email account that's not your primary. Use PayPal instead of your credit cards. Like there's no reason to just go this far out of your way. Like you waste more time review bombing than you do just installing the installer.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's one company that's been review bombed, but in a positive way recently.
Oh yeah, the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah. Do you want to go into this?
Yeah. So Assassin's Creed Unity was our very first review bomb that went positively, I guess. So
Yeah.
they let the Unity copy, or they let copies of Unity go for free after that.
On the Uplay store.
Yeah, on the Uplay store after the church burn 2 weeks ago.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre
3
Dame.
weeks ago. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago now.
History. So after that burn down, they released the game for free so people can experience climbing the Notre Dame Tower like on their own time since it's not there. And they started getting review bombed, but like for the positive side. So what would we even call that?
Review
Positive review bombing?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Praise bombing?
Praise bombing? Yeah, I don't know. What's interesting about this one is when Assassin's Creed Unity first came out,
trash.
There was a lot of bugs. Now, I didn't play it till a couple years after the fact, and I loved it. I played through the whole thing with no issue. But from what I understand, Ubisoft spent close to like 2 years reconstructing just Notre Dame.
Yeah.
In the game. So it's probably the closest representation that you're going to find digitally and where you can interact with it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And that's
I think
pretty awesome that they did that.
Didn't they say that they were going to open up like the digital files so they can recreate Notre Dame like in real life? They have the schematics and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I mean,
I can see it. Dude, if you had played Unity at launch, you would have been in for like you would see why they took those couple of years off from making Assassin's Creed before they did
Syndicate.
Before they did Origins. Oh yeah, Syndicate came out
after
year break.
Yeah, then it was a year break for Origins, and then Odyssey came out right after. Now, the thing is that I don't think a lot of people understood of those Assassin's Creed games and why they were pumping them out so fast, as I'm pretty sure they had several studios working on them. It wasn't just one studio. Yeah. Ubisoft has I think 6 or 7 of their own studios around the world. Mm-hmm. So while one was working on one, another would be working on another, and etc. Montreal may be working on one, and Paris or Montpellier might be working on another, and I think they have one in Prague, and so on and so forth.
I'm just glad they're avoiding the Activision life now, because doing the yearly releases is good up until people get tired of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm still waiting on them to bring back Tony Hawk's. Like it's been years. Please, Activision.
Speaking of Tony Hawk, I'm going off on a little tangent here. Do you follow him on Twitter?
No, I've seen him doing like some cool dad skateboarding things, but I haven't like.
You should follow him on Twitter because people be like. He'll be at like the drive-thru at like Burger King, and they'll be like, "Hey, are you Tony Hawk?" He's like, "Yeah." What have you been up to? He's like, "This."
It's like, yeah, because he's like 50, 60 now. Like, what do you want him to do? Keep going off air pipes?
Yeah, well, no, or there's people that say, "Hey, you look like Tony Hawk. I wonder what he's doing," and he's like,
"I've seen that one."
Right here. This is what Tony Hawk is doing. He's sitting on the airplane talking to you.
Hey guys.
So.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. Yeah, but the way Ubisoft's doing their games now with like the 2 to 3 year life cycles, or no, it's like 3 to 4 years because I think
it's 2
Siege
years.
is in like year 4.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So they've got some of those games as a service in Siege and
Division and
For Honor.
Wildlands.
Yep, and Ghost Recon
and
Wildlands has free DLC I think just this weekend with John Bernthal in it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy the game because it's on sale like currently just for that. I love me some Punisher.
It's a fun game. It's a lot like The Division in the gameplay mechanics. So they've got those studios that are doing those games as a service, but then they've got other studios that are doing the Assassin's Creed games every couple of years, and then they've got other studios that are doing other projects like their lesser known More artsy stuff. I'm calling it artsy because it's
Rayman, Child of Light, stuff like that.
well, and Starlink, just stuff that's
Oh
not part of an
yeah.
existing franchise, not a Watch Dogs, not a Assassin's Creed, not a Tom Clancy. They have studios that do Just Dance, I think, every year, and you know, those games,
Yeah,
for
those games are
their
system seller.
market, they sell every year because people want more music.
Just, yeah,
Um,
I feel them. Ever
yeah,
since Guitar Hero died, Just
Ubisoft.
Dance has been scratching that
I
itch.
was talking to a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago, and pretty much Ubisoft, we agreed, is probably like the best in terms of fan service developer
Yeah,
out there. At least that's independent, and not a Nintendo or a Sony or Xbox.
at least currently, yeah. Like a couple years back, you
Oh,
would not have heard
yeah.
that.
I mean, it was people were just getting sick of the Assassin's Creed stuff, but they've got
Mhm.
Skull and Bones coming out later this year, and they've got something for everyone, and it may not be what you want, but
But you'll get into it essentially.
well, it may not be the game you want, but they've got something for any there's your people that want the cartoony platformers, and then they've got Rayman, they've got Brawlhalla. May not be your thing. You may like
Yeah.
the shooters. They got Siege and Division and Ghost Recon, so they cater to every market really. I guess they don't have a core RPG series, but the Assassin's Creed games have RPG elements where it brings people in. So
Yeah.
if you're into those motorsports type games or extreme sports, they've got the Trials, they've got Steep.
Trials is the greatest thing ever, man.
They've got all sorts of stuff. So they're a really
Mhm.
good, and they've got a studio in Barcelona now making VR games. They made the Star Trek Bridge Crew.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was them.
Yeah, which is a fun
Jesus
game, by
Christ.
the way. I've got it.
I'm gonna have to invest in Ubisoft now
Yeah,
because
so
we're only a couple years away from maybe Square Enix becoming the better. Once they finally start listening to people, they should shoot back up to the top. But
yeah,
as of right now, they're looking rough, real rough.
yeah, they are. So, but yeah, review bombing. It's not cool. Don't do it. It's
So
and it makes for like what I do. Like it pisses me off because I write reviews now for Alpha Nerds. Like you're just trying
yeah.
to be a brat and make people unhappy because you have to download another digital storefront to buy a game. Which, by the way, you just launch it from your PC, the desktop of your PC, anyways. So
And you could port the games into your Steam library and launch them from there.
yeah, I mean it's
It's kind of nonsense at this point.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, let's move on. Today is May the 4th and Free Comic Book Day. So go to your local comic book shop. I'll be going to mine here probably after the podcast since it's a short walk from the house. About
Hey,
500
lucky.
feet. The joys of living in a small town, man.
I gotta go a couple miles, but yeah, definitely go and check something out.
Yeah,
You gotta keep the comic book shops alive, guys.
yeah.
They're free for us.
Marvin, if you go, check out Mouse Guard. It's one of my favorite comic
Mouse
series. I wrote an article about it when I first started writing for Alpha Nerds. It's anthropomorphic mice, and the Mouse Guard are like they're kind of like the Rangers of Lord of the Rings,
Ooh.
where they protect caravans of mice going from one settlement to the other, and they ride around on rabbits, and snakes and weasels are their enemies, and
How is this not a movie yet?
yeah, exactly.
You
should
like you
really
just told
check it
me,
out. Like, I've got 6 or 7 of the books. I think Gary Peterson's the artist. He
Okay.
so he put out a couple books, and a bunch of smaller comic artists were asking, "Hey, can I write something in Mouse Guard? Can I write this?
Mhm.
I got this idea." And he told him no, because he doesn't want to like pollute the timeline, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, but as a compromise, he came up with the idea of called Tales of the Mouse Guard. And now these are set in a tavern where there's like 6 or 7 drunk mice that have run up huge tabs, And the tavern owner, she offers to forgive the tab of one of them if they each tell a story that can't be completely true and can't be completely false. And she'll pick the story she likes the most, and that person, their tab's forgiven. And these stories are told by the different mice. Well, those are the different writers, so they all have different art styles.
Oh my god, it's genius.
So good. So there's the main storylines, and then there's the Tales storylines, and they're both really good.
Okay,
So you should check them out.
I'm gonna check that out. I was gonna go and pick up some more of the Fables. Have you ever heard of Fables? They made Telltale made a game based off of them a couple years ago called The Wolf Amongst Us.
Oh yes, it was a great game.
Yeah, yeah, it was a great game. It's a all right comic book. Like it came out maybe 10 years before the game, so they got like a lot more lore, and then there's like 2 or 3 different spin-offs of it, but still a great little like thing. And then Saga, which is the greatest sci-fi comic book probably ever written by if I'm correct, I think it's Brian K. Vaughan, or no, it might not be Brian K. Vaughan. But it's a fantastic comic book. They've got something for everybody, like the sci-fi western shooter thing. It's all over the place, but it's so consistent. And they're on like a 2-year break, so that way he can start to plan out the ending, and he's giving the drawer time to like finish it so they can avoid crunch.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
You should check out Saga if you get the chance.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
We got some comments here. Sorry, I've been reading the comments. See, Dana said the same thing. He loves Mouse Guard as well.
Oh, all right. That's 2 recommendations. All right, I'm going.
Yeah, you should check it out. I've got all the books he put out. It's just awesome. It's high fantasy, almost to the scale of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
It's a must read for a comic book fan.
You sold me. I'm going.
All right. And of course it is May the 4th, so watch some Star Wars tonight. Remember Peter Mayhew. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Chewbacca.
Chewie.
We met you.
Right here. Any upcoming games or movies you want to talk about?
Crap, I didn't see what's coming out. I know John Wick is coming out. I'm getting ready to go pet some dogs and get ready for a rampage.
You put something down here on the agenda about Black Ops 4.
Oh yeah, so if anybody on PC doesn't have Black Ops 4, Humble Bundle has a monthly thing where for like $12 you get 6 to 8 games depending. But the early access one this month is Black Ops 4. I forgot what the edition is, but it's the zombie-free one. So it has the multiplayer and the blackout mode for $12.
That's not bad.
You can't beat that.
No,
yeah, you can't beat that really. If you want zombies, I think it's like 10 or 12 more bucks. But you can get that from inside the actual like game. And then PlayStation has 2 different sales going on currently. There's the Villain sale and Golden Week sale.
Mm-hmm. Nintendo has a Golden Week sale as well. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Golden Week sale is JRPG games.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why they chose that name, but whatever.
It's I think it's like a thing based off Persona 4 because they have the PS Vita version is the ultimate version. It's called Persona 4 Golden Edition.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a JRPG staple, I guess, at this point.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick up Danger Ropa if you've ever heard of that.
Danganronpa?
Oh, that's how you pronounce it?
Danganronpa, yeah. I believe so. Apparently it's really popular.
Yeah, that little bear has been tormenting my nightmares, so it's time to finally see what he's about.
I know nothing about it. I might have to check it out. There's also new games with gold on Xbox for those of you that have Xbox Live, and games on the PlayStation Plus. And I really feel like Sony's trying to get people to not pay for PS Plus.
I haven't paid for it since they announced that the Vita games were going the way of the dodo, man. Like, I only bought PlayStation Plus for my Vita for the cloud saves, which are essential.
Yeah.
But now, when it's only 2 games a month, it doesn't make too much sense to be paying like the $60. If they're gonna only be 2 games, they need to go back down to $40 like they initially did.
Yeah, well, and
Especially if the games are what we're getting. I love Overcooked,
I was gonna say both of them
but
are
why would we?
both of them are, from what I understand, very good games. I love Overcooked. I have it on Switch, and I've heard What Remains of Edith Finch is a great like 7-hour story game.
Yeah, I have Even Finch on Xbox, and Overcooked I got on the Xbox because it was a Games with Gold thing.
Yeah.
But you can't play Overcooked online.
Nope.
Overcooked 2 you can play online.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people that have a PlayStation 4 might have 2 controllers, but not 4. Which some of the stuff in Overcooked you really want to have 3 or 4 people for.
Yeah, and you guys gotta be synchronized up because
Mm-hmm.
those meals will get to you.
Oh, that game, yeah. It is. If you haven't played Overcooked yet, you really should.
Yeah. I'm waiting, or I want to get part 1 and 2 and just like have a party mode like with some of my friends just to see how their cooking skills are. But the way we play games, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of sabotage, which is perfect. So,
I'm just checking something here because I could be wrong. No, maybe not. I thought What Remains of Edith Finch had already been a free PlayStation Plus game before, but I don't think it had been.
yeah, you might be thinking of the Unfinished Swan, because the little logo of Eden Finch kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, I already own this game. Why are they giving it to me for free?
Yeah, it wasn't that. It might have been Oxenfree I was thinking of.
Oh, maybe.
Which I bought that game on sale on the Switch, and I was like, yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about this game. Then I'm on my Xbox one day, I'm like, I already had this game.
Yeah, like I own. That's the worst feeling in the world. Is like when you buy something for the second time and you don't intend to. It's like,
Yeah. No, I just
Damn it.
rebought Rainbow Six Siege, which I think is on sale on the PlayStation Store. Because I have it on Xbox, but I love that game. So, of course, I wasn't quite paying attention. I bought the cheapest edition, which does not come with the base operators unlocked.
oh my god, you got the starter edition.
Yeah,
They always say to avoid the starter.
but I've already played so much of that game though that I know like which ones to buy.
Good call.
I mean, I probably put in close to 1,000 hours of it on Xbox in the first 2 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And honestly, I only used 3 or 4 operators, and they were all starters, so I bought them quick.
Are you gonna rebuy the year-long passes or whatever?
No. I only bought. So when I bought the game initially, I bought the version. It was on the spring sale for Xbox that came with the year 1 operators included. So I bought the season 2, year 2 operators, and that's all I've bought. And honestly, like I said, I use the basic operators. I use fuse on offense and attacking, and yes, I'll fuse near the hostage. I don't give a shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
and Valkyrie.
Excited.
I won't fuse the hostage room, but I'll fuse the adjacent rooms.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you a video. It's on my YouTube channel where I got a 1v5 ace with fuse. So I'm right next to someone on the window. This is how it starts. It's Bartlett University, and Kavera. Someone dropped the one guy, so it's just me, and then Kavera dropped someone else. And it was me and IQ, and then someone else. Kavera dropped him at the same time. The other guy got killed, basically. So they knew where I was, and I took out all 5 of them.
Oh my god! Yeah,
It's
send
crazy.
me that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
It's gonna be a great video.
But
Last thing I want to talk about, Sonic.
Sonic, yes. I guess you'd call it review bombing in some ways.
Oh yeah, the developer got super harassed over his
The director, yeah.
scary,
And
his kind of scary.
I actually thought he looked kind of cool, human teeth and all.
Oh my god!
Like I said, I'm not a fan of Sonic, but I saw that, I'm like, this movie is not going to be Citizen Kane, but it looks fun.
I mean, I don't know why they didn't just use the Sonic design from like one of the TV shows or something. They decided, all right, let's just put a little kid in the Sonic suit and keep it going.
But yeah, so because of the overwhelmingly negative response to how Sonic looks, the director is now going to force the visual artists and the FX team into crunch to get it changed in time for the movie's November release. So, good job, Upset fans. You probably weren't even going to go see the movie anyways. And you were probably mostly the same ones a couple weeks ago. They're saying Sekiro didn't need a hard mode. Uh, don't ruin the developer's artistic vision.
Yeah, I mean,
Bravo.
I was gonna go see the movie regardless, but now I'm scared that they're gonna make Sonic look worse because I've seen the fan art for how Sonic should look, and that looks better than anything I expect to come from this.
Yeah, I've seen a couple
Good job.
fan arts that were really creepy though, like Nightmare Fuel creepy.
Oh yeah, no, that's always gonna happen.
And I
I'm
did.
waiting for them to show Knuckles.
Yeah, well-
If it's Ugandan Knuckles,
Well, that's what they were saying. Yeah, it was at the end. That's where you're gonna see Knuckles is Ugandan Knuckles. Do you know the way?
Just show me the way.
All right. Well, if you're in the Dallas area, go to the Dallas Fan Days Expos if you can. Dallas
yeah.
Fan Expo. Sorry, it's this weekend.
I think we got a couple proxies there. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop by the Tavern Tankards table and get yourself a nice tankard. I don't got anything else, Marvin. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, that's about it, man. If you're playing Mortal Kombat, enjoy those time crystals they're gonna send you.
All right. Well, nerds, have a good one. See you next week.
Be safe, nerds.